Good evening. I'm messing about with social media at the moment, and sorting out my Facebook account and such things. So I just thought I'd do a quick update to put on my new account. And I just thought I'd reflect on this situation. Well, not just the specific Ukraine situation, but just things in general. Things I've noticed from the weekend going out. I spoke to a lady in a pub in on Fallsgrave, and she says, "Oh, I've been drawn to you to have a chat and what have you." And she was being genuinely affectionate and what have you, just for the right reasons. If that's right, sort of like, I'm concerned about your welfare, sort of thing, because you look depressed. And and we had a little bit of a chat, and she just went on to say, well, with what's happening in the world, and we need to pull together and we need to be there for each other, and and we had a little bit of a dance and what have you. But it's just, I have also been in a pub and I've been apologised to for an altercation a few weeks ago. Something I didn't expect, but I accepted it because I thought, well, he's making the first step, a step forward, which, and I thought, well, it's a bit of humanity there. I got a handshake for making amends by another person. And it's just, when I was in Aldi as well, a guy said, "Oh, you can go in front of me. I've got all the time in the world." And I just thought, it's people reaching out and trying to, because I think it's dawning on people, the effects of war and the effects of, I mean, I've just seen today the Ukraine situation. 1.5 million refugees, up to 1.5 million refugees so far. That's like 11 days into fighting, since fighting's been started. And you've got 1.5 million refugees, and it's turning into quite a major thing. And then you've got the situation with the Ukrainians wanting a no-fly zone. They're sort of asking, we could do with a no-fly zone. And, the NATO countries are afraid that if that was implemented, that would result in confrontation between Russia and NATO. And things could escalate to a global stage, and we could be all being affected by God knows what. If this escalates, I mean, I'm getting sort of information from my YouTube subscriptions and friends on YouTube, and there's a lot of people: Angry Prepper, Alaska Prepper, Survival Living, Canadian Prepper, Demcard, Easy Smart. There's a lot of people have got things to say about different aspects of living, and the effects of war, and the effects of a refugee crisis, and the impact it's having on the UK society, the impact it's having in the USA. And it's I've heard the term doom scrolling, which is when you're sort of going through your phone looking at what's going wrong now and what's, but I am guilty of doom scrolling. I mean, one thing I keep checking up on is knife crime in Britain. And as this is going on, there's still things taking place, and nobody's clamping down on such things in this country. Even, when I say clamping down, I mean nobody's sort of seems to have taken a firm hand to it and just said, right, life means life and all this sort of stuff. I think there should be a lot more. I think there should be a lot more slamming down on things like that. You know, sort of nipping it in the bud, because people aren't. There's not much justice in the world. And sometimes it's necessary, I think, just to get things right, get things in order. And I think people are very wishy-washy at the moment. Yeah, including myself. I think, you know, I don't sort of... and I think that's just, you know, I think that's as a result of the way I've been treated and the way that people interact in general. You know, if it's happening there, it's happening there, and you see these social impacts, you know, as a result of nobody taking a firm hand to situations when necessary. Yeah. But it's very, very interesting times. For some people, it might be exciting, but I think the longer this conflict goes on in Ukraine, I think the more likely people are going to have to reach somewhere with a bit of compassion, because I think I've heard things that are happening, and it's quite possible, very possible, that it is happening, but the news doesn't cover so many of the you know, the darker things that are maybe happening in this situation. Just on a lighter note, I've subscribed to a Russian family in Russia, and they're lovely. They call everybody adorables, and I love that term. And I think it's Dan Shazig, I think, or something like that. His name's Dan, anyway. And he sort of shows people around Russia, and he's got the cheapest sort of car in the country, he says, and what really endeared me to him was, I mean, the loving way that they walk around the supermarket as a family. And then he went to help his father-in-law plant some potatoes, and it was just, you know, they'd spent the day, they filmed it, they spent the day planting seed potatoes, and it just, you could see the satisfaction that they got from doing that. And it did make me think very, very intently about my own situation and whether I should actually be living in a flat in Scarborough, or maybe trying to find somewhere maybe with a bit of land or something. I like the social aspect of being in a busy town, but you could, you know, you can definitely see that there is a very warm feeling from doing your own work and seeing the results of your own work. Yeah. And that's a fantastic source of information. He goes around talking about the price of petrol as a result, as regards this situation, and how it's affecting the price of petrol in Russia, the power price of diesel. And that's very interesting. He's also done a supermarket sweep, if you like, and checked out all the prices of general groceries and the price of them, and if it's having any alarming impact on supermarket products, which it didn't. When he did the walk around the supermarket, it didn't seem to affect the prices, or the prices didn't seem to be that far out of kilter with Western prices when I witnessed that. Anyway, I've brought up quite a few subjects, but Yeah, the top and bottom. I am doom scrolling. I am checking out a lot of information from elsewhere, such as this Canadian prepper guy has connections in the US military, and they have things to say, or they might say things like, oh, they've been called up and they've got certain things to, certain places to go, but obviously they aren't allowed to talk about things. So I find it all fascinating. I find it interesting. But this, I think, the undercurrent is, and as my sister-in-law said, about her concern about a woman going home and a flat being hit by a rocket, and things. The general humanity, I think that's my concern. So I think that's all for now. I'm sorting my flat out. I'm trying to get my life in order. And yeah, I'm going to start using the word adorables more often when I do another vid. I might start off with that because it just comes across as very endearing. And I think the reason it's endearing is because it comes, it's from that guy in Russia who's just such a nice, warm person. And it just shows you that, despite the fact that Russia's been highlighted as a bad country and they've done this and that, there's pretty much a family guy and a family in Russia, and they've, they're just plodding on, planting the potatoes, planting the seeds, and checking up on things, and you can tell they don't want this. They're not sort of the type of people, and I feel touched, I suppose, to know of their existence and to hear about their stories. Yeah, so I'm going to keep check on that. Yeah, but my own situation, I'm trying to sort my own life out, trying to sort my flat out, and my social media. Anyway, this might be going on social media if I think it's sound enough. Yeah, right. So, to all my adorables, love and blessings, and peace out.